All right, all right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Misfit Corner Comics. This is the artist known as Andrew speaking. And we're going live. It's Wednesday night. And there we go. All right, very good. So I'm just doing this on StreamYards tonight. Not because it's any easier, but just because. Um, I had been doing this on OBS, which allows me to have two screens up at the same time. So I would have me talking to you as well as an image. Well, I can actually. Hold on a second. Oh, I did that last time and it messed things up. So I'm not going to do it this time. I can switch cameras just simply by doing this. All right, and then you can see my drawing table, my drawing board, and let me show you where we left off. We were working on page 3 of this new Hawkeye story. I went ahead and did the top panel separately, not on stream. I still need to do the backgrounds, which are going to be watercolor wash. I'm leaving that really to the very end because I have some watercolor wash to add into page 1 and page 2. This one, it needs some background watercolor wash, and then a background here, which is actually going to be majority of the next panel I work on. The idea is that it's like mountains in the far off distance, and I'm going to do wash to make it seem like it's faded out. Hey, Manuel, how's it going? Manuel says, good evening. Good evening, my friend Drew. I'm doing good. My health is much better. Thank you so much. Absolutely. I'm glad to hear you're doing better. I have a doctor's appointment next Wednesday on Thursday morning. Very good. Hey, Glenn. Glenn's here. Glenn says, hey, just got notified. Audio not so good, slightly garbled at times. Okay, well, hold on a second. Let me just unmute mine. And all right, well, guys, we're just going to go with it. We're going to do the best we can. Once again, I'm using Streamlabs or StreamYards for this one instead of OBS. But as I was explaining, I'm going to add the watercolor wash later to these two panels. This panel right here, I went ahead and just filled it in. It's like an action panel where he's doing something. The background is going to be a bunch of speed lines. And I'm going to end up doing that digitally. So I'm going to leave the background open for right now, and I'll add the digital speed lines later. So this page is technically done, except for a little few. So we're going to start working on page 4, which is halfway through. And the funny part is when I initially penciled this page, this middle section here, I didn't like it, so I was going to redo the whole dang thing. And, of course, the whole dang thing is not printed out. So what I'm going to do for the moment is just erase what's already here. And, yeah, I completely changed the shot, the view of this panel. Instead of a close-up or a pullback of him standing on the cliff, it's actually going to be an overhead shot, which will establish where Hawkeye is to the 3 wolves and where he is on the cliff. So in the meantime, we're going to work on panel 1 and panel 2. Actually, we're going to probably panel 1 and panel 3. It'd be really helpful if I could count, But this one, I actually have to rethink a little bit. His face looks good. His shoulder twist here looks good, but this is supposed to be his hand reaching behind. Let me switch cameras real quick, show you what I'm talking about. It's supposed to be him reaching behind to his quiver to find out that there's nothing there. Because as you can see and of course you can't because I changed cameras again. This panel here shows that his quiver is completely empty. He shot his last arrow at the wolves. So I need to kind of reposition the hand a little bit because it honestly doesn't look right in this panel. I may just redraw the whole thing completely, but we'll do that rather quickly here. Sometimes you fly by the seat of your pants when it comes to doing drawings like this, and sometimes I just don't plan out too well. So what I'm going to do, feels like the light is way too bright. Let me move my light just a little bit. See if you guys can see the image a little bit better. All right, so Here's the quiver, and it's empty. And he's reaching back. This would be his hand. You got to remember this is his right hand is reaching back. So, all right, so you'd have a thumb here and 3 fingers here. And then his glove is here. And this is where he realizes, oh crap, no more arrows in my quiver. All right, simple, easy. Oh my gosh, there's somebody at the front door at 8 o'clock at night. Let me go see what that is. Hold on a second, guys. All right. I'm going to tell you guys what just happened. I know probably nobody's out there anymore, but okay. So normally people don't come to the door at 8 o'clock at night, but turns out it was the neighbor from across the street. Her daughter had brought her a cat a little while ago. And she said it was a very sweet cat. It would go outside, do its business, and then come back in. No big deal. Well, the cat went outside and got pregnant. And recently had 5 kittens. And she's found homes for 3 of them. And she was looking for homes for the last 2. And she was offering us one of the kittens. And oh my God, this kitten was so adorable. But my mother-in-law and my wife would absolutely freaking kill me if I accepted another cat. So I had to tell her no. And that it was very difficult. This was an adorable little kitten. But I had to tell her no. But then I recommended our vet as a possible can help with placement. So I mean, I didn't shut the door in her face and slam the door in her face, but I did tell her we have 6 right now. We could not do another one. So, all right. Oh, Glenn says background music is soothing. All right, excellent. All right, back to drawing, back to what we're supposed to be doing here. Now, the funny thing is I was telling her about how my wife and mother-in-law have been away all week on a cruise, and I've been home by myself. And my goal had been to get a lot of drawing done. And guess what has not happened this week at all? There has not been a lot of drawing. So tonight is my one commitment night. And I got to get to it. Yeah, graphic novels do not draw themselves. Some people would probably say they would if you did AI, but I am old-fashioned. I am drawing with pen and ink, and I am not doing the AI route. So, all right. So we're just going to fill in this guy here. So I went out with lunch with Michael. Was it yesterday or the day before? No, it wasn't yesterday, because yesterday I went to a movie with my daughter and had a good time. And I went out to lunch with my son the day before. He treated me to a new Chinese buffet that was nearby that we hadn't tried yet. And he really wanted to try it, so he invited me, and we had a good time. It was great. And while we were at the buffet, I was telling him one of my story ideas for the new backup story for Hero Book 3 or Book 2. So for Hero Book 1, I'm in the process of redoing that right now, and it is coming along well. I have to get back to it. Oops. I have to get back to it. But the goal is to re-release Hero Book 1 and to include an additional new backup story, which is this 8-page story that we're working on. And then I was talking to him about Hero Book 2. Hero Book 2, I don't honestly think it needs that many tweaks to make it ready for printing. I got to go back and look, but when I was working on Hero Book 1, there was a lot of stuff that I was learning as I was going. And with Hero Book 2, I kind of understood what I was doing a little bit better. So things went a little bit easier. At least I think it did. And so Hero Book 2 probably will not need that much tweaking to get it ready for printing. I may work on, there may be some tweaking to some of the lettering, but I don't think the story is going to change any. I will give it a new pass, maybe have a few other people read it and give me some input on it, because I had an editor who helped me with books 1 and book 2, and he was great, and I truly appreciate everything he was able to help me with. But he's not able to help me with book 3, um, or any revisions that I do with Hero book 1 and 2, which is okay. But I'm gonna have some people help. You know, a lot of times helping is just simply rereading it and letting me know what they think. So I'm gonna have some eyes on Hero book 1 and book 2 again. And I lost track of what I was saying. Okay, so Hero book 1 is getting an extra backup story, which is what I'm working on here. And Hero book 2 I'm revamping one of the backup stories, because it really just needs a little bit of love and care, and love and tender and care. And I'm going to create a new backup story, which actually connects. A part of it connects to Hero book 3 as well as book 4. So I'm excited about working on that. I think I may have mentioned it to you guys, that the idea that's involved with that one. So in Hero book 3, there's a situation where a rival king, his daughter has been kidnapped by the bad guy in order to convince the king to do something that he doesn't really want to do. And Hero's put in a really delicate situation, where two neighboring kingdoms who have always been good to each other are now set against each other because of the actions of the bad guy. And Hero, of course, has to be involved in helping save the day. And book 4 is actually going to be the story of him going off to rescue this princess that's been kidnapped. And I wanted to create a story which introduces us to the princess prior to, any mention of what happens to her. And I have an idea for how I want to do it. And I ran the story idea by Mike, and he was like, "Go for it, Dad." Actually, he doesn't care. He's like, he's like, "Dad, whatever you want to do is fine by me." But yeah. And so the story idea with this princess, this kidnapped princess, is that her mother. Oh, wait a minute, man. It says, "Hey, I love kittens." Oh, you could. Jehovah's Kitten, Jacqueline is exactly what it is. But the idea is that the princess. Sorry, I've got to look at my hand while I do this. The princess. Come on. The princess, her mother was a famous warrior, and a very well-known famous warrior. And her mother passed away and is dead. And the princess is actually haunted by her mother, by the ghost of her mother. And she's able to see her mother, and her mother's there with her. And kind of like, her mother kind of says something along the lines of, "I made a pledge to train you to be the best, to be a great warrior. And when I passed away, I did not finish that. I wasn't able to finish my commitment. And so even in the afterlife, I'm going to complete my commitment to you." And it's kind of like a coming of age story in which a young woman is kind of haunted by her own mother. I'm sure that happens in real life all the time. But yeah, and the characters are the animal spirits, the animal characters are like tigers. So she's like a cub, a young cub, a teenage cub, and her mother is like a tiger woman, but she's like extremely extremely sexy and hot. She's like warrior Xena warrior princess, but looks like a cat. All right. All right. Of course, put a little bit of his tail behind him. And I can see I've already smeared something. Smeared the ink over here. Gosh, I cannot. I'm just having the worst time keeping these inks straight. But, oh well. And I got a cat crawling on my back behind me. We'll see if she behaves enough to not ruin my drawing for me. All right. Now I know I mentioned before how I hate filling in blacks with Sharpie, but sometimes it's how it works. I don't remember the reason why I made his gloves black, or the wrist, the part, because it actually stops at his hand. His hand, he has got like bandages wrapped around his hand. It's probably from, hurting himself when he's doing his bow and arrows. But all right. All right. Just a matter of using the right pens. And we do a little thicker line here. All right. Yeah, I told the neighbor, I said, I think my mother-in-law and my wife would kill me if they came home and I had another kitten in the house. How sad is that? All right. Now, you know what? I realize this panel does not necessarily need a background, so I might be able to get away with just leaving it as is. Let me clean up the pencil marks real quick. I might put some manga speed lines in the background, like that type of thing, because the background would actually just be, the background that's in here, but it's not necessary. All right. Believe it or not, sometimes a panel can be just that easy. You know what? Let me do a little bit more hatching in here. Make it look like a little bit more depth. Maybe a little bit more shadow here. Yeah. It shouldn't be so pointed, but oh well. Get the idea. You get the idea. All right. All right, now let's work on this panel a little bit. Let's start from the back, where we see the quiver is empty. Gonna add a little bit of shadow and shading here. A little bit of shadow and shading here. This doesn't have to be perfect. I find myself, as I work on this project, realizing I'm getting a little bit more sloppier with the drawing. It's more, when I'm inking it, it's more sketching than it is inking. And honestly, I'm okay with that. My style has kind of changed a little bit in that way, that sometimes it's a little bit more sketchy. And honestly, it's mostly because that's how my art has developed with my ability. Not to say I'm not capable of doing this. It's just that it's getting harder and harder. You know what really, really stinks? And right now I'm just talking to myself. I was talking to my son the other day, and I mentioned that my daughter's 1-year anniversary was a week ago or so, and which means my 1 year of retiring from my day job was just recently. And one of my goals of retiring was to be able to get back to work drawing and working on Hero. And I have done a really, really bad job of that. I have not gotten as far as I wanted to get. With Hero, I need to spend more time on it, and I will. All right. So once I mentioned before that the background is probably going to be a mostly watercolor wash. So I'm not going to do that right now because there's so much of that can be it can be messy. Let's just put it that way. And I might need a little bit more space in order to make it work properly. And that requires me not doing it on this table, on this board, and actually doing it on a bigger surface. So doing sketching, doing layouts, doing the initial inks is perfectly fine for the live streams. But when I need to do some like detailed stuff, I need to focus a little bit more. And that I'll do probably at my drawing table. I will make a video so that I chronicle it, but I'm not going to do it while on a live stream. I can't be silly, can't be stupid. So, I just realized I pulled the page so far over, you guys might not have been able to see what I was drawing. All right. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but that's half the battle right there, is getting everything laid out and in its proper place. And I'm going to clean it up a little bit with the eraser. I hope you guys are having a good week. This has been a very trying week for me. With the wife being gone, my whole week is discombobulated. I always joke with her, I can't live without her. And in times like this when she's away, only proves that I am utterly and completely useless without her. All right, I'll draw this line in here. All right, there we go. All right, that's all the main stuff. Now, like I said, this panel right here, I completely redid and redesigned in the layout stage. So I'm going to have to reprint that and redraw it on here directly. So we'll see. We'll see what that all is going to entail. Actually, you know what? We could draw some additional shadows here. And here. And here. Give it a more 3D feel. Like it's got some weight behind it. All right. All right, and that's it. That's it. That would be the two panels, at least the beginnings of them. There's a little bit more details that has to be added, but this is most of it. So, Glenn says, click the like. Sure, go ahead. Manuel says, click thumbs up. Absolutely. Manuel says, congratulations, 1 year retirement, my friend Drew. Yes, absolutely. Just still haven't gotten anything done. And then Glenn says, your drawing talents amaze me. Well, I'm trying. And he says, I'm getting my roof replaced and solar covered by my health insurance. I swear that's what the scammer said. Yeah, my video tomorrow is actually a solar scammer. I got to keep them on the line for a while and had a fun time with that. And whoops, switching cameras. All right. And then my bonus video is a home improvement scammer who I start telling him about what home improvement project I needed done. And I mentioned my car, and he's like, ooh, do you also need new car insurance? What? Oh, anyway, guys, I appreciate you hanging out with me. I know this hour was kind of abbreviated with my visit to the front door. But I appreciate you coming in and at least keeping me honest, keeping me working at least 1 hour a day, 1 hour a week, even though I do need more of it. Now, here's something. Last Friday night, during the live stream with the guys, I was talking, and there's a thing that they do in the comic book industry called a 24-hour comic. And what that means is you work for 24 hours straight to try to complete one whole comic. And a comic is generally 22 pages and a cover. And so that means in 24 hours, it's like an hour per page. I have an idea for something I want to do, but what I'm thinking about doing is doing 24 1-hour segments and doing them live streaming and for one whole hour, just work on one page of art. And then the next day, do another hour and just do one page of art. And the idea, then you do a cover, and that may take a day. And then, you have an extra day of cleanup and all this whatnot. But one of the cool things about it is it's everything. It's pencil, inking, and lettering. So there's a lot involved in it. I'm trying to convince the guys to do a 24 1-hour live stream Because I know there's some guys out there that attempted to do a 24-hour live stream where they drew for 24 hours. Ain't no freaking way I got the stamina or capacity to do that. But 24 1-hour live streams, that is a possibility. So I'm going to start working on ideas and maybe make that happen. So that might be something to look forward to sometime soon. So let me finish this 8-page story, and then we may. What's really funny is whenever I'm working on something, I like to finish it and then move on to something else. And sometimes you need to step back from what you're doing and move and do a different project. That way, when you come back, you're a little bit more fresher. So that might just be the fresh kick in the butt I need, is to switch directions and go with a different project. But we'll see. We'll see. But I'll keep you guys informed. I'll let you know what's going to happen. And I appreciate y'all coming around and hanging out with me and chit-chatting with me. And I will see both of you most likely Friday night on Roger's stream on Screwing with Scammers. All right, guys. Peace out. Be good. And I'll see you guys in a couple of days. Bye.